All right.
Boom. We are recording, Neal. We are
That's exciting.
recording, and this is like spur of the moment. People that are
Yes.
watching. First of all, first thing you should know, I've been working with polish. I've been polishing their stream, so if I look dirty, it's because I am.
That's a
Second
good
thing
reason.
is, I was watching Neal's videos, very technical, economic-based videos about Splinterlands, about his rentals, about his the flippening, all these economic things. And I'm like, this guy speaks my language. We have a good rapport already. We've known each other for like at least a year now. And
Yep.
I was just like, more of these videos. I was like, wait, let's just do it. And I watched a bunch of long videos, podcasts, and I was just like, well, I mean, if there's two people to talk about it, who better than us? I mean, maybe, and then have guests like, Agrid and stuff like that. There have been shows in the past that focus more on the culture, the lore, the funness, that sort of things. But I think we like
We're
this other sort of stuff, huh?
we're gonna nerd out for a minute.
We're going to nerd out. We're going to share the screen. I think, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about guilds, you said. We're going to talk
Mhm.
about the economics of something, maybe rehash a little bit of the ideas that you shared in your video, which I'm sure I'm going to share a link to on my Steem post,
Mhm.
and on the YouTube video as well. What else?
We can talk peak monsters and
Yeah.
why it's why, at least as I don't know if you called me like a power user or like a heavy user or whatever, but when we were chatting a little bit earlier, the idea that people come in the Splinterlands ecosystem and don't use peak monsters and haven't heard of it is just insanity because it's
Hey,
like
I
it's
like
like
it.
50 times better than the alternative. Uh, so so yeah, and like I saw somebody, I think it was today, somebody saying, "Well, how do I click more than one thing?" I was like, "Well, you go to peak monsters and just click." And
Yeah.
so yeah, that's a whole thing. But yeah, I was thinking that so we could talk, the money stuff as far as like rentals and
Strategy stuff. Do you play much?
I play. So what I do, and this is a little bit of a cop out. So I have my alpha golds, which don't rent well at all. So that's what I play with, and they are typically good enough to play in the gold league, and then at the end of the season, when everybody's moving up, I can get into like Diamond 3 or Diamond 2.
Oh, okay. So this is interesting because I have rented out everything except for my golds as well. And I only play with my gold account, which gets to, I've spent more money than I should. Obviously, the economic benefit for you on having bought and rent out tons of cards and created a bunch of free-to-play accounts where you earn money that way.
Yep.
You have a lot of those. It's probably better than me buying and having an account value. Now we can, we could we're jump right into some share, right?
Let's do it.
This is the first kind of fun thing because I'm excited because there's not many of this is a little different. Okay, this is Splinterlands, but we don't look at that. We go to Peakmonsters. So the Jarvie Rentals is my account where I have all of my max cards. There's
Yep.
279 max cards. There's a
Yep.
couple non-max. I've been trying to move them out of this account. So I have an account for all my max rental cards. I have an account for all my gold cards. So we're going to go into that. Gringotts.
That's the bank thing, right?
That's the bank in Harry Potter. Not the
Harry
biggest Harry
Potter.
Potter thing, but I thought that was fun. It was
Yeah.
available. I was like, yeah. Okay, so all the gold stuff. A couple of non-golds because I don't have like a max level elemental phoenix. But we got somewhere between 13 and 17 golds. So there's this idea on Peak Monsters that we created, and I saw you in your video that you like using the market price. What's
Yes.
your opinion on that? So we just
Yes.
recently created that. So you had we created the ability to bid for cards recently. We created the ability, or there's always been the ask price, which is this
Right.
listing price, how much someone lists a card, like in the market, you know, where they're like, I'm going to sell this card for 0.029. Someone's like, well, I will buy one if it's 0.021.
Right.
And, you know, and then the last time this card was sold was for 0.021. So that's the market price. But explain, because I saw in your video, you pimped out the market price a little bit. What's your opinion?
Yeah, I think the market price is the most accurate thing we have at the moment. So we have a couple issues in the market for Splinterlands cards. So there's not a huge amount of volume. So on the things that trade frequently are the lowest price things, and that makes sense to any kind of degree there. So you can find pretty good pricing on the commons and the rewards cards that are either common or rares. But as you go up the rarity hierarchy, then the less trading occurs. And we've seen this be an issue where, especially on the gold legendaries, which represent a huge portion of the market value, whether it's the bid or the ask or the peak monsters market value. But if they don't trade, then that price, whatever it is, becomes stale and unreliable. So when you guys rolled out the market price, that was between the bid and the ask, and whatever the trade was between those two. And if there was no trade, then I think it defaults to the bid. That's
That is correct.
Okay, good.
And now, just as a small aside, because I want you to keep on going so don't lose your place, I just wanted to say that every gold foil legendary reward has had a purchase since we started the market price. Every beta gold foil has had a purchase except for the Frost Giant.
Oh, that's surprising.
Frost Giant is the only one that hasn't had a purchase since that. So therefore its market value is 15 cents. Where everyone else has a proper market value, except for the Hydra as well. But it has a pretty high bid right now at $92.
Right.
In fact, I mean, we go in here and create a bid on the whole entire rarity class. So on all beta gold foil legendaries, I had a bid up until recently. I don't know what happened to it. What probably happened is I ran out of money, and therefore my bid is no longer valid. And therefore there's no bid for these anymore.
Yep.
So that's kind of a call out to people, is like, hey, and these have worked. Well, not me, but recently, a week or two ago, there was a bid for a promo, and it was a mistake posting, most likely, but it was for a Lord of Fire for very, very cheap. So, or not Lord of Fire, it was for a Red Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in any case, I have actually purchased quite a few legendaries through bids. Not for mistakes, but just for normal amounts, for my asking price usually. Sellers will come in here and look at the actual asking price and make a listing for that, well, for the bid price. They'll make a listing for the bid price.
Yeah. If you want to sell your card quick, you just hit the bid, and it executes in, I don't know, 2 seconds, usually.
So you can see if there's been a market or a purchase of this card since it's began. Shinlo has never been purchased since that time, because you can see it's the same as the high bid, and there's no movement.
Yeah, that's true.
If there's no movement and it's the same as the bid, then there's been no purchase of it up until that point. But we are getting close to the point where all cards basically have had a purchase, except for basically alpha gold foil legendaries, which I don't think a single one has been purchased since.
Yeah, so I have a bunch of those. Well, not a bunch, but I have some. And I used to have my Selenia Sky. I used to have it listed for $10,000, back in the when Heijin was buying stuff for crazy prices.
Yes.
But that never sold, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been a trade on that card in over a year.
Man, in the early days, what were some of your theories that that came true? Like, if let's reminisce for a moment back in the days when we were just guessing at the values of these things. Now, when DEC came out and the ability to burn cards for a token that had value came out,
Right.
and we could kind of like give a baseline value, things really reorientated.
Yes.
And one of my theories was, at the beginning days, rares were just way too cheap. Rares were so cheap. And in the beginning days, some of those legendaries were way too expensive.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
like, oh, but you can't go against the price because they're still trading at this amount. But I luckily went and bought crazy amounts of alpha rares.
Hmm.
Still pretty cool.
Yeah, I focused on the commons, and I also thought that. So the price has always been $2 a pack, and we knew what the probabilities were of the different rarities being produced, and this was before golds were a thing. So there were a bunch of people, myself included, who were publishing expected values and what based on the expected value and the fact that they were $2. What should your average common, rare, epic, and legendary go for? And the legendaries were just way higher, and so everything else was depressed. And then I was looking at that, and the numbers of cards that you need to make a max level card, there's a huge skew, right? So under the alphas, it was 379 for commons, 86 for rares, 32 for epics, and 8 for legendaries. And the and so that 379 to 86, that's a huge step. And I did the math, and I was yelling in the Discord for months at a time, saying, "Hey, people are going to run out of commons. There's only enough for like 100 accounts, if you max them all out." And I guess nobody.
We're on Peakmonsters. We see the different levels. We have 379, and the total cards ever created was something around 49,000 of most of these commons. Let's look at this one's 50,000.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you divide 50,000 by 379, I'm not sure what that is, but and there's still a few packs out there.
There's 133
that haven't been opened. So yeah, about 133.
Yeah, so I think there's still like 10 or 15,000 packs that are sitting on the exchange, and most of those are Bernie and Marky Mark.
Yes.
So they're just holding until prices skyrocket, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there might be a few more in those packs, right?
I saw the list of like who's holding the most alpha tokens that represent these packs, right? And I was like, oh, how am I like fifth on this list? That's
there's not that many.
Everyone is opened theirs. Have you opened all of your alpha packs?
I have, yeah, except for one. I bought one on the market as just to try out the token buying thing, and it's still sitting in my account.
I have some in Jarvie, but I know that the other one. Oh, let's just go here. I put them in a different account, especially before the whole thing with the active key being needed. I was like, no way, I'm keeping these in Jarvie.
Right.
But we go to wallet. Oh, I've only got 10 in here.
Okay.
And then I have the rest, I guess, in Jarvie. That makes me sad. I thought I had more than that. But alpha 101. So I have 111 packs left.
Yeah. That makes you an alpha whale.
Yeah.
Alpha token whale, I guess.
I couldn't believe most all of them have been opened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what are you going to do? Just sit on them for years? I mean, some people are, I guess. But you got to know that there's still probably 4 commons and 1 rare epic in there.
Because you can't use potions.
You cannot use potions on alphas. That is true.
Bad.
That is very sad.
And there are so many interesting cards in beta that I'm almost like, alpha. Sometimes beta is more exciting to open.
Yeah, I mean that is definitely true. I mean, alpha, is the old known quantity. So you know all the cards. And you've been playing with them from the beginning. So there's a lot less excitement versus opening like the orbs cards. Like, oh, I got a Minotaur warrior or Minotaur warlord. So what does that do? I don't even know because I haven't played with it.
So
And
it took me a while to figure those out.
yeah.
But we were talking about gold foils,
Oh
and
yeah,
so we both got it's kind of fun having a gold foil alpha. You can play any tournament.
yep,
Um, and I've supplemented it with some of the betas, but this is kind of my also, since we're talking about gold foils, gold foil always has a lower market value than the normals. So if you look at, you've got listed at 19,000, you got market at 15,000. But if you look at like something like Jarvie Rentals, which has no gold foils, it's 14.5 to 13.8.
right.
Prices are very close together.
Yes. Yeah, it's just the fact that the golds don't trade as much, and because when they came out, we didn't know what they were going to do. So, and then when we started battling with them, it's like, well, they didn't do anything. It was just they look pretty,
Yeah.
and but now we get the 10% per card bonus on them, and then another 10% bonus per alpha. So if you play with alpha golds, you get per 20% bonus per card.
The DEC ability,
Yeah.
the burn ability. So the foundation of the price foundation, I guess, they can't go below a certain value. You could always burn them for X amount. So it's like there's some stability there.
Yes.
Especially if you buy them at that low, if you buy them at a bid, and they may be listed for a lot more, but you bought them there, so you're at least over, ahead.
Yeah, you've got a floor under you that's pretty solid. And as long as the price of the dark energy crystals stays pretty constant, which it has been, plus or minus 10, 15%, then you've got a way out, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, so that's been good.
I've been I once, because I don't play tournaments, and I'll start playing once they come up with non-live tournaments or play at any point tournaments. I'll start playing again, but it's been months since I've played the live tournaments because it doesn't work for my schedule.
Yep.
I can't orient my life around that, and I can't do a thing where it's like you wait for 15 minutes because you are in the you skip this round, so you have to wait for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Then you play 2 quick things, and then you wait 10 more minutes, and then I don't know, it could take like 2 hours. And so what I've done is just people in my the top Peakmonsters guild with all the champion level players, I've told them, hey, if anyone wants to play in with the Peakmonster or the Gringotts account, have at it. So every tournament almost they're jumping in, and I've given them my posting key, which is beautiful thing, the ability to have an active key so they can't do anything but play.
That is good.
Has been awesome for me.
Yeah. I had the same kind of experience where I'd be sitting there in a tournament, and the thing that frustrates me the most is if your opponent runs out the clock on the round. So in the tournaments I've played, at least, you have like a 5-minute window to hit the button to actually start the round.
Yeah.
And they've just been sitting there waiting till the very end. And I'm already in there. I'm already picking my team, and it's just it just gets annoying, and I don't have time for that. So I don't play many tournaments. But I know some of my guildmates are heavily into tournaments and playing multiple ones a day. And I was like, well, I'm glad you have fun, but that's not going to work for me. But yeah, when if and when the asynchronous tournaments come out, then you could just set up your teams and come back tomorrow and check your
Earlier
results.
this early this summer, I got a message from Matt, and Matt, the developer, and he's like, "Okay, tell me what you envision for this play anytime tournament thing."
Mhm.
And so I laid it out. He's like, "Oh, that's actually better than I expected." Okay, yeah, that's doable. But I think that there is some Steam hard fork stuff. I
Yeah.
think they've been pretty involved in directing the mobile development,
Mhm.
and with the cards, the reward cards about running out, they have to get those ready. And then
Yep.
with beta cards maybe running out at any point, as some people like to say, they have to get those ready, and they
Yep.
probably have to do a lot of testing to make sure none of those cards are going to break each other. And then and then they redid the whole um, on Steam, their vote buying program. I mean, he did some work on that, and then I'm sure there's lots of things going on. And I was like, oh no, tournaments don't get pushed back too long or too far.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there have been a lot of things going on, so that is definitely true. But my impression, based on nothing, is that they are behind mobile apps, and so I would not be surprised to see those in the beginning of 2020.
Behind, as in behind on development, or behind him like, go fight, win, we're behind you all the way.
No, as in that'll come after.
Okay. No, they've got to. I think it's simple enough that the play anytime tournaments are going to come out first, and they're not going to come out first as a replacement of. They're going to come out first as Guild Wars. That's my opinion. That's my
Okay.
that's my rumor mongering, I guess, or whatever.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. That Guild Wars is going to be the first implementation of this style of play.
Hmm. That
And
could be.
I'll give you a rundown of how I envision it. Now, it's not necessarily going to be exactly like that,
Yeah. Bring it on.
but I was a consultant. Um, okay, so basically, people will put into grouped up, right? So maybe I don't know what number they're going to come up with. That's one thing we don't know. It could be 25 people all put into there's an easy number. It's 30, because that's how many people are in a guild.
Yeah, that's a max guild size.
But it's probably not going to be that. It's probably going to be like 20, and then you get to choose which 20 people in your guild
Yeah.
you're putting up against the other. And so they will all play each other. So and it doesn't have to be like best 2 out of 3. You can play literally, I play you one game, and I play everyone in your guild a game. And then I have 1 day or maybe 2 days to complete that. And think about that. That's actually, playing all those games will be shorter than playing a regular tournament.
Hmm.
Because all it is, you'll still have the 2-minute timer or whatever it is, right? So you go in, you start it, you'll get the same, like, oh, these colors, these splinters, these rule sets, you have 2 minutes and go. And then you submit. And if you're the first person, this is the thing that he had to well, I want everything on blockchain. I'm like, well, do you want play anytime tournaments? Because what you have to do here is the first person to submit their team doesn't go into blockchain automatically.
Hmm.
Or it could go in encrypted. I don't know. It
Yeah.
doesn't go into blockchain automatically. They save it. Splinterlands saves it. And so you could play all your games like 2 minutes. So if I'm playing 20 people on your team, it literally, at the most, it could ever take to play the whole entire 20 games is 40 minutes.
Hmm.
So you could do that over the course of a day or two. I mean, some people play 1-hour tournaments like 2 to 3 times a day.
Yeah.
I guess that depends on how long they get into the tournament.
Right.
To do one round is 15 minutes half the time. Then you get there 5 minutes early, and you have to be this in this case, someone that's busy, that's got a lot of things going on. You're just like, I'm going to carve out the time I want to carve out, when I want to carve it out, and how much I want to carve out. And I'm going to do it 6 in the morning, my time, and everyone can do it at the time that works the best for them, play their 20 games, and then you get like your win-loss draw, and then you get a certain amount of points,
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess if you've got a guild war, then you total up everyone's points that they got in your whole entire guild, and then that's the score. That's my opinion of how guild wars could work.
I have a slightly different flavor of that. So what I picture happening is, yes, okay, so 20 on 20. You set up your 20 teams so that both you and your opponent for any one match will know the rules and the mana limit for that one match, no matter when you are setting up your teams. So, if
that's
I'm
the same, right?
That's
okay.
That's all the same so far. But instead of just totaling up win-loss, what I imagine is actually setting up a bracket, randomly choosing, and it's like, okay, now this battle is going to be Neal against Jarvie. And so we pull the data from the Neal against Jarvie team submissions, and whatever that is, that winner advances. Because you already have the teams you selected against everybody, but only the ones that end up matching up in the bracket will be executed, essentially.
That was kind of partially the first idea. For those that are new to Splinterlands or SteemMonsters, remember that old idea? That was the way they originally sold it. Do you remember? Were you there like the very, very beginning, how they originally were selling it?
I mean, I was there before there were battles, so I'm not remembering what you're talking about off the top of my head.
The way that it was sold, it was a heavy, like, we're bringing back fantasy to the fantasy sports. It was very much like it was sold like fantasy sports. Like, you create a team, you're drafting this team, and then you see.
Oh, the live drafting. Yeah, I remember that.
But not as much live drafting, but like you would create a team in the morning and then come back and see how it did in the tournaments. Like, you weren't actually there in the tournaments, you just saw how it went. That's like fantasy sports. You pick a baseball player or a football player and you see how they did later that day.
Yep.
And so it was that idea. And there were some complications because of the way blockchain works, but it's similar to what you're talking about. It's auto-advancing. You're picking a team and it's auto-advancing it, sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that is similar. And I'm of the purist camp that I want everything on chain as well. So, but if you could submit an encrypted team, then I think that would be workable.
What Matt would probably do is submit the first player that submits their team, submits it, and then SteemMonsters account or Splinterlands account holds it. And the moment the second person that plays submits it, they're submitting it directly to blockchain, and then Splinterlands submits it for them.
That could be.
Submits the first person. So first person submits it, they have it in holding. Second person submits it directly to blockchain, and then out of holding, so they both are on blockchain. It's fine. It's all going to be on record.
So they're published at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that could work.
So, but either way, just the ability to, then I'm like, okay, everyone stop playing my tournaments. I'm going to play myself. I could do that. I'm busy, but we all got time to carve out. I see all these Steam developers, people that are busy running businesses. I see them playing. We all carve out a little bit of time of our day to play.
Yeah, I do my daily quests at least 5 out of 7, and because I'm in the Immortal Gods guild, and so Clove runs that with an iron fist. If you have not played your quests, you get a warning quickly.
Really? Wow.
She does not mess around.
A lot of scrolls. So
She looks all nice and friendly on the social media stuff,
hi,
but
Chloe,
behind the
if you're
scenes,
watching.
she's a tyrant. No, but she's great. Uh, the day that guilds went live, I don't know if everybody was paying attention. So the they moved the guild system from the test server over to the live server, but didn't tell anybody for like a day. But it kind of leaked out because people were messing around with it. And so, like, the first day before guilds were even announced, Clove was dumping like 1 million Dark Energy crystals into it.
She did.
And she was hardcore. And I was talking about it with some people. It's like, well, it's possible that they won't honor that, but as it ended up, it all worked out. So
Yeah.
that's I was a
So,
little scared there for a minute.
well, we've done for those. I mean, guilds is an interesting subject. What we've done on Peakmonsters for our users, I go in and check, and I see, are these actual users, and they're not. I wish this guy was a user because we want to add him to one of our guilds. But we have the Premier, and then I log out. I'm managing all of these, and then I go into Peak Fighter. So I have all these accounts, and then I'm running these to see if there's any new requests. It's like, well, this is just for champ accounts, so I don't know why you guys are. The rules are quite obvious here that you need to be a Champion League player.
Well, you'd have to read them in order for that to work.
Yeah, but what we've done, we don't do the Iron Fist thing as much, but we look at our members, and like this is pretty open, obvious stuff. But this guy has done 44 scrolls, so I've told him we've moved down one of a guy from Premier that didn't do quite as many. He's like, well, I think I should probably be in champs. And so I was like, okay, Mata Bansari, you're up. So I've invited him to the Premier Guild
Hmm.
to kind of have fluid movement. And then we have, as of announcement, as of last night, we now have 4 all guilds for a total of 6. All 4 is down at the bottom. Created it, but no one's in it yet.
Okay.
I'm not too worried. It's only 10,000 DEC to start a guild, and then I upgraded it 1 level, so it's like 20,000 DEC. I mean, just the other day I upgraded all 1 to level 7. That's like $200, 250,000 DEC. That's at least $200.
Yep.
That's real money.
It is real money.
Expensive. And then all 2's like, well, what about our guild? I was like, we're not just made of money. If you want, you can move up to all 1. How about that?
How about that?
So this one could be 6, this one could be 7, and then we'll pretty soon we're gonna have to upgrade Premier to 9.
Yep.
That's getting pretty soon. So we'll wait. There's not much reason. I did the math, and there was no big reason to. It was going to save us like 2 days or something like that, 2 to 3 days, if we upgraded it to 9 right now. And it's just like, no, let's just wait until they get up to the quest level. I guess if people aren't used to this, I could show this. So you go to guilds, and then you go to guild hall, you go to the quest lodge, and we're almost back up to 8. We hit 8, and then I bought a bunch of orbs when we hit when we hit 7. When we hit level 7, there was a shop discount of 5%. I bought a bunch of orbs. I opened half of them, and I got a gold mermaid healer to max out my gold mermaid healer, which took me a lot of time. Those things are like $30-something a piece, and you need 10 of them. That's like a $300 card, $350 card when it's maxed out. Anyways, I got that, and then we dropped it back down. So
because you lose 10% on the season reset, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
So we
that is
lost. We went down from 800 and what is it? 817, and then dropped down to 736.
wow.
But you guys, how's that been for you guys? Is there grumblings about the
No,
big drop down?
I mean, the rules are what they are. So,
1131 down to 1018.
yep. But we're already back up to 1065. So, it's not, it's annoying, but it is what it is.
Did you
Uh,
hit level 8?
I believe we did. I don't watch it that closely. Um,
But you buy a lot of potions when you open stuff.
I do, and I really appreciate the discount. So
6% is what you would have gotten.
the last one I purchased was at the 4% level, and the potions, the purchase of the potions, that 4% saved me like 5,000 deck or something like that. It was a significant savings. It was well appreciated.
Speaking of that, because this is always a favorite of people in the old when they're doing videos, right? Opening live.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna open
I haven't watched the animation in a long time. So
you
it's the bulk open thing.
do both open.
Yeah. Woo.
Let's see.
You know, anything?
My
Oh,
one rare is that.
there you go.
For those that haven't seen the bulk open, we'll do that. Open quantity is what you do.
Yep.
We'll go ahead and open 4. I've been wanting to open these.
Are you buying mystery potions?
I already have mystery potions on this account.
You
I
know when
gold and legendary.
at the beginning of when the mystery potions were rolled out, I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Maybe I'll get the archmage, and it just never happened. And then I saw VC Dragon get like 4 of
Oh,
them.
mystery. I thought you meant the other potions, gold and alchemy.
Oh,
Mystery potions. Yeah, I mean, it's actually time. Maybe I would have seen it right by now. Maybe I'll refresh the page and it'll be there. Or I've ran out.
yeah, but I pretty much gave up on them, even though
Did you ever get an archmage?
no, I bought one, but I did not win one. So yeah. I bought one of the I bought it from VC Dragon, one of the early ones, and I way overpaid because it's a regular archmage, and I traded. What did I trade? I traded like 3 Platos and like 2 Renans, and then the gold Valnamore.
Ouch.
And it's just
They've
that
gone
was
value though again. So
yeah.
you're
I was a bit overeager, and then I tried renting it out, and nobody was interested. So
yeah. I use one in my account, and then I have an account that I let a friend play. That's the account that runs one of those guilds,
yeah.
and I have it in his account. And I had bought a third one for $200,
Mm-hmm.
and then I sold it for $300.
Well, there you go.
So, but the other 2 I got from mystery potions, which are a complete like gamble. It's like
Yeah.
total gambling, and I am not a gambling person. I've never gambled. I've never played. I've been to Las Vegas a dozen times and never gambled. It's like I don't do that sort of thing. I don't play poker, so it's kind of weird that I do that. But it's nice that I've got 2,
Yeah.
and I still get them. And every time I get those stupid 1-cent cards, I'm like, why did I do this again? Why did I do this?
Because you got the Archmage. Because when you have those high mana matches, Archmage is phenomenal.
Yeah. I don't see a lot of people playing it, to be honest.
Well, there's also just not a lot out there. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Or the same people, or who's getting them all? Maybe it's someone that's just like, I've got 10 accounts and I'm going to go all in for mystery potions.
It could be.
And he's just sitting on 20 or 30 of them.
Yeah. Because it's one every 2 days, right?
I guess. Yeah.
So,
And then how often is the gold one? One every month?
I don't know. I've only heard of one gold one. There's none on the market.
Okay, so we're going to hit reveal all.
Let's do it.
That was so lame.
Yeah. Armorsmith has got to be my favorite orb. because it's like a heal, but it's a melee, and it's not susceptible to sniping.
I think white is making a comeback because of Armor Smith.
Yeah, I I agree. I was actually setting up a Heron's account earlier today, and so I had $200 worth of Steem, and I was buying cards, and I was like, well, white needs this, and it needs that, and it needs the other thing, and it needs all these support cards and everything. So I think white ended up being the strongest Splinter in that account, and it was a silver level. So I mean, it's
So let's
level 5
go to
commons.
life and then go to promo here.
Oh, can you go back to the opening screen for just 1 second?
Okay.
Because so if you close that.
Okay.
Okay. So this drives me insane. And if you look at the logos of the the splinters on the actual opening graphic there, so there's at the top is life, at the bottom is death, then we have water, and then we have fire, and then we have dragons and earth.
Yeah.
And it just bugs me. I know it's super anal of me. It's like, well, first of all, the dragon
what bugs you? The order?
Well, the order and the position. So like dragons should be at the top because the dragons everything.
Yeah.
Right? And so I get juxtaposing life and death and fire and water, and earth is just kind of like, I don't know, let's put it against dragons. So it just bugs me.
That's true. So you should have life and death, fire and water, and then the top spot should be dragon.
Yep.
Yeah, completely.
So
makes perfect sense, actually. Thanks for making it bug me now. Nah, it's not I'm not that type of person. But the thing about we've got promo and life, right? You've got the armor smith. The thing about him is you don't really need that many. I mean, he's repair right away. Maybe give him one attack so that he's considered melee, so he works in a melee type games, right?
Yep.
And I mean, you do that with 5, but at least get him up maybe to a 2 attack. So just get him up to 52.
Mm-hmm.
And really, that's all I have in my main accounts. It's like, well, he's really there to give repair.
Yep.
I'm not really using him to get like heavy attacks, though. He's nice when any melee can attack.
Yep. Or either melee mayhem or super sneak or something like that. It's a nice little bonus.
Yeah, exactly. It's a nice bonus because then you could throw in white. You could throw in this guy for 2 mana. You can throw in this girl for 1 mana, and she can have a 2 attack.
Yep.
And then you can throw in the cockatrice for 2 mana, and then you've got, even in low mana games, you get all these people attacking.
Yep. Absolutely.
And then you throw in the Peak Rider, which I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of fun. Since I helped design the card, decided about it, what it would be, the kind of lore behind it, and all that stuff. We're gonna go find it real fast. I invested and I bought enough to have a max gold Peak Rider. So I use it a lot in my accounts. I think it's fun.
You have to, right? You named it, so.
Yeah. So, we're not in my collection. There we go. There's my baby, level 4.
Oh yeah.
Or I mean, yeah. So I am still looking to upgrade my Spirit of the Forest and my Angel of Light to finish maxing them out. And the Arianthus, which we kind of all missed the boat.
Yeah, I have a 3 as well on the gold, and it's like, when it was $70, I was thinking about it, but now it's like 200. I'm like, I'm just gonna have to live with a level 3 Arianthus.
Which you get 1 less health. It's
right.
The end of the world.
It's not the end of the world, but there is, I was talking about this in the Discord, and somebody's pointing out that, going from 8 health to 9 health actually increases your heal by a full point.
Oh,
Because at 8 health you get two added back, and at 9 you get 3 added back because it's a third rounded down.
that's right. Someone did mention that, and I was like, oh, that's a good point. I should get another one.
Yeah,
And I
but
forgot that again. So good thing
yeah,
you brought that back up.
yeah, but not for $200. So, or 193 right now is the best
Well, then
price.
you put him with a Prince Reignin, and then the other life card that gives you an extra health. The strength card. What is that one?
I think that's the unicorn, isn't it? I actually
No,
don't play
not
life very
life.
much.
I meant green card.
Oh yeah.
Wood nymph, maybe.
Uh,
Strengthen. Yep.
yeah, she has strength.
The wood nymph is strengthened, so you'd have a 9, and then you would also have Prince Reignin to give you 1 extra, or the Liana to give you 1 extra, and the wood nymph to give you 1 extra. So you'd end up with 11. So what would
Mm-hmm.
that end up being on a heal?
Still
4,
3.
3 still?
Yeah, because it's rounded down.
Uh,
If you had one more, then you could get to 4.
huh. Eventually there'll be a card like that, right?
Probably. Did you read the post about the Untamed story, the lore?
No. Tell us about
Okay.
it.
It was a week ago, maybe 5 days ago, something.
I
It
did
was
skim through it.
yeah. So the story is that somebody from the Life Splinter, they're archaeologists, but they're called archaeologers because it's different. And the caves underneath the fire Splinterlands, and they found something. And the story seemed to indicate that some kind of powers being untamed. It was bound in like a statue or something, and now it's loose. So there we go. Untamed the Prophecy, official Splinter lore. And it's actually a good little story. I don't know who wrote it, but might have been Chris.
Yeah,
Uh,
they need to start using, and they're using SteemPeak, but they're not using author.
hmm.
When you create a post on SteemPeak, you just go to advanced and you type in author. So if you have a shared account, just type that in and then it will show up.
I
And
didn't
that's
know that.
decentralized. Any interface could add that.
So
Uh,
do the rewards go to the author, or is it just a credit?
it's just a credit. It just shows up.
Okay.
You go to SteemPeak, where we have multiple people posting. Each post will say who wrote it. Authored by Asgarth.
Ah,
Authored by Asgarth. Authored by Justina. I used to post a lot more. I do a lot of the posts. Let's see here. Authored by Jarvie. Authored by Jarvie. So, but that'll let you know who's posting them.
hmm.
And then obviously you could look here, the beneficiaries, of course. But yeah, that's interesting. I helped one of these days. We'll have to talk a little bit. Bring in some of the people that do a little bit more about the lore. I'm
Mhm.
interested in an update. I did write the initial draft for the Black Splinter.
Okay.
My theory was I was talking with my nephew who's a writer, and I was like, well, I pretty much want to write anything but the black one. And he's like, why not? And I was just like, I don't know. It just seems so depressing, and all these like the prototypical like evil, terrible, just like bloodsucker, just terrible people. And it's like, well, that's where you make it interesting. That's where you give them like, why is it they're that way? Give them a viable, interesting story
Mhm.
and a reason and something complex, something. I wanted it to be something where people could have a podcast like this and like discuss the philosophy of these things.
Yeah.
I do have worries, and I don't know if people writing like that, a lot of that philosophical foundation of the Black Splinter may have been lost when they rewrote it to be more fun and story-like, or more not just fun, because it may be more like, oh no, like they just like reverted to the normal thoughts of zombies and skeleton armies and that
Right.
sort of things, like the normal prototypical, like the not prototypical, but like the normal boring stuff. I was like, no, give them an interesting background, something that really makes you go, huh, I can see that. And why they believed so strongly in their cause. And I love the whole idea behind it. I thought it was great. I got some ideas from some other people. I thought it was just fun having those ideas just kind of come, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And
Yeah, I wish actually that the lore. So like if you go on to splinterlands.io or steammonsters.com and you look at a particular card page, you'll see your listings and then the market and then stats and then there's a lore tab,
oh,
which there you go.
oh, look, I'm never on Splinterlands for like looking at cards, so I didn't know.
Right. Right. So my entire learning experience with this was Yabba came into the chat one day and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to give away, some packs to whoever can answer this trivia question."
Huh.
And his question was, it's like, what two cards are, related to each other, like by family or by blood?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So I started going through all the different lores, and I came up with like 4 different answers. And he's like, "No, not that one. No, not that one."
Did I win that?
I don't remember who won, but I remember being annoyed because yeah, but just had his one answer in mind. I was like, but what about this? So it actually ended up being kind of fun, and I wish that was more tightly integrated into the play somehow. Whether it's in the card selections of a team, or if that somehow meshed itself with a rule set in a particular match. Um, but so right now it's just there's that tab that nobody looks at. So I don't know.
He, Lord of Darkness. Okay, well, I think that meant the Lord. I want to read one of these because like this is interesting. Now I didn't talk about each. I didn't write the whole stories for each one of these per se.
Mhm.
Um, but I wrote for most of it. Okay, so the Lord of Darkness is the rule of the Dark Eternals. Dark Eternals, that's correct. Of Mortis, which means death. So long ago, he was named Logfael. Did I do that name? I can't remember. Sounds. I had like reasons for some names. He discovered the truth of the darkness. Yeah, I like that. That's true. From a dark czar. Okay, that's an addition. That's fine. Who paid him a visit from the dark eternity. That works. Defecting from the living of the Splinterland. Lagfael wrote the Dark Codex. Yep. And began recruiting souls for the Dark Eternal Collective. Yeah. Oh, okay. This is making me a little happier. They seem to be a little bit more. Okay. The Lord of Darkness loves. I wouldn't say love. They don't. They're not big on emotion.
Hmm.
They
Friends.
they have this screwed up society. Like it all makes sense to them, but if you look at it, you're just like, whoa, you know. But anyways, emotions is not their big strong suit. So, but from an outside perspective, writing about the Lord of Darkness, it's all right for a writer to say that they love, but
Mhm.
they're not going to
Right.
actually. But and his mighty flame whip leads the Dark Eternal teams to victory again and again on Mount Mox.
Mox.
Good job. That works. But he was a key character in the history. Some of these
Mhm.
other ones are not key characters, so it's just like it's going to be interesting reading about the
Oh,
haunted
you've got
spider
skins.
because I have no opinion of what the haunted spider does in the history. It's just like they're not.
Hmm. So the second form of a dark eternal is determined by the state of the soul. Some of the more twisted souls take insect form. The haunted spider is the favorite. The projectile venom and massive armored thorax make the haunted spider a formidable and intimidating enemy in any battle.
Yeah,
That's good.
it's
Kind
pretty
of generic.
term. There's no historical impact.
Yeah.
The
Well,
other
it's just one of many, right? It's not like the Lord of Darkness. You know?
Yeah, so the Zentaur has historical impact. So let's see here. Zentaur Mortalis is the leading dark summoner. His renown has earned him the right to have a name, which is rare among the Dark Eternal Collective. There used to be a different name instead of Collective, but a Horde, I think, or something like that. But someone was like, I think it was Agrid, was like, oh, that's too similar to World of Warcraft. And I was like, well, I've never played, so they changed it to Collective. It doesn't matter. That works perfectly fine. As a power for summoning wizard, Zentaur is the closest thing Mortis knows to a celebrity. That could be true. They don't have celebrity culture, but it's, I guess they said, the closest thing they know.
Right.
When facing Zentaur Mortalis and this, oh, well, that's just a generic ending. Like, this guy is good. Anyway, that's pretty cool. You can find a bunch of lore things. I was supposed to write the lore for the Peak writer. I'm scared what they wrote, knowing that I didn't submit anything because I didn't know that they were actually using it for anything.
Let's find out. I haven't looked at it.
Oh, this is going to be totally wrong. I'm sure of it.
It's wrong.
I'll just have them change it. I did pay a lot for it. The creature that rides the mountains of the life, Splinter, strikes fear into the heart of every Kymian. His demon steed stands 15 feet tall with a long, sharp horn from his forehead. Okay, so it's just a very generic, like, describing what it is physically. The man himself, if he can be called a man, is never seen without his horse. And it's just like it's nothing. So they just made a very generic one. It's fine description as a stand. There's no historical impact of what it is. I mean, he came from the Dark Eternals. So I wrote the background of the Dark Eternals, and then I was like, I want the legendary summoner, well, maybe not to be a Dark Eternal, maybe to be a Benedict Arnold, someone that left the Dark Eternals. So he basically unconverted. So Dark Eternals are very much a conversion based. They're like, they go out and try to convert people to their cause. Try to teach people why not death, but like this eternal realm. You and I look at it, and the rest of the Splinters are like, that's death. And they're like, no, this is the eternal realm. Death, that's bad. No, it's good, and here's why it's good, And this is why it's great that you should be dead. They don't call it death,
That makes sense.
But that's why they're part, they've found this power from this other side, which they think is good, but it's just twisted. What's good is bad, what's bad is good. It's just, I wanted to basically create what I thought was the most corrupted, evil concept, and it bases itself in the most corrupt thing. We're getting to philosophy here, but the most corrupt thing I think in life is to intertwine truth with straight out evil stuff, like just strands of truth woven into the words of Hitler, like, oh, that's good, like just these things, so it's like it was almost like weaving in little bits of like good things into like this total communistic society, like this total socialism, evil type of social, like this dystopia, Anyways, the Peak writer is I
can tell you've thought a lot about this.
Came to his senses. Anyway, are we supposed to be geeky instead of storytelling?
Well, whatever works. But I bet a lot of people did not know that there was a lore tab there.
Yeah, there you go.
I believe everything is filled out at least with something, whether it's a generic thing or
Yeah.
not. But I think everything has some lore. Every card.
So what's making you the most excited right now? What are you working on when you come into Peak, SteemPeak or Peak Monsters, or not SteemPeak, Splinterlands or Peak Monsters, or
Yeah, I mean, my thing right now is finishing off my last 3 or 4 Herons accounts that I'm going to be making, and then
you
uh,
started making them?
yeah. So I have a bunch of cards. I have a lot of cards.
Where are they
And
mostly at?
what do you mean? Oh, like what account?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nealmcspadden.
no, just go to
Card?
Neal.cards. That's where I hold most of them, and that's the vast majority of my collection.
Dang boy, dang.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's a
I
lot.
have spent way too much money.
Are you married?
I am.
What does your wife think about that?
She's not entirely aware. So yeah, there's that. But it's an investment, baby.
I'm gonna
And
log out, go to Jarvie, and then go back to your. Is it all right if
so
we see this?
yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it's all public blockchain stuff.
Well, I mean, no one, not, yeah, it's all public. They could, but they can't all really see this.
Yeah, that's right.
It's fine. Okay. So your rental income went way down. You're not
Way down.
renting out any of them.
I know. So what happened was, so I
We're
have my
sad at Peak Monsters that you're not
well,
renting cards.
it'll come back, I promise. So what happened was, so my primary account on Steam is Nealmcspadden, and I had all my cards there, and I was also, you're using Steam, you're doing stuff, you're granting posting keys to whatever, and I realized that, well, that's really stupid. And this was before the active key thing was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I created Neal.cards as my holding account. And as leases that I had ended up ending, then I would transfer them over.
Yeah.
And the majority of those I had not gotten around to relisting on the marketplace. So
So as
they're
an
just
example, when I go in to Jarvie Rentals, actually, I'm going to log into it. So Jarvie Dash Rentals. My profile, I'll share it. I'm at 557. I think that's the highest I've been. Maybe 570 I've done. But of my cards listed, 275, I've got 200 rented out.
that's a lot.
That is a very good percentage.
Yep.
And I guess we could do a calculator. So 5.57 times, this is, people want to know how we figure this sort of stuff out. I mean, it's 2,300 or 2,033 a year. And so we look at market value, 13.8. So divided by 13.8.
What? You got an extra digit there.
How do I go back?
I don't know.
Go back button.
Google Calculator, where are you?
Oh, there. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to be able to show people with the screen share. So it's like 15% of entirety, like of, and the point is, like, I did this when it was like these cards weren't this valuable. Bought them. So that's 15% on the current. What do you call it? The current value?
I call it return on assets.
Return on assets, not return on investment, because
Right, because the investment is whatever you paid back when. So yeah, so like for when I'm making rental decisions, what I want is a card that will rent for at least 3%, because I know that if I create a rental deck, then I can get about 30% in dark energy crystals. So I want the individual cards to be higher than that, and that's what I'll be focusing on when I get to it. So I know this is a long-standing conversation that you and I have had, and it's neither one of ours. We can't do anything about it, but the limitation on combining when you're doing like comments where you need 505 of them is just agonizing.
It takes a little bit of time, huh?
It takes a lot of time,
Yeah.
and because I gotta open the thing, I gotta scroll down,
You got a
select.
lot of cards. You got 60 Angel of Lights that haven't been combined.
Yeah, and it's just the thought of going through all those and doing that is just daunting. So
Where are all the ones that you've delegated out?
well, so like if you look right there, Diamond League, Whistling Heron, Night Heron, Goliath Heron, those are all rental accounts.
Okay. But what about
Um,
for Frost Giants? You just not
yeah, I just don't delegate those because nobody uses them.
Oh. Well, if you look at neutrals, I'm sure there's a lot
Yeah,
of
so neutrals, everybody wants. So you see a lot more there.
yeah, you got this is basically your list of accounts because you probably got a Lord Arianthus in each one of them.
Not quite. And in some of the lower accounts, I don't include them or I haven't, even though people have complained. Um,
I feel bad, but my Lord Arianthus, whatever the plural of it is, Lord Anuses,
Lord
um,
Anderson.
I had them rented for a good amount back in the day, and then the price of it just exploded from like $1 to $9.
Yep.
And so the value of my rentals was like 1%, 0.8%.
Yeah.
And yesterday, in fact, I stopped them all. Sorry to those that were renting. It was the end of the season. Season had ended. It was fine. I'm taking the hit of having to wait 7 days, and I've listed them again for like 3 to 4%. So
Yeah. I have a bunch of very low rental yields still sitting out there, and as they've been expiring, I've been moving
where? I
them.
mean, you're not renting anything.
Well, these are on my primary account still. So if you go to Nealmcspadden, you'll see a bunch of regular cards.
Yeah.
I don't even remember who that Hydra is to, but so all of these alpha cards, those are all rented out from like 3 months ago, and if the prices on them are ridiculous.
Pindex, someone in my guild is very thankful to you then.
Yeah. Oh, so, if I log into my account, I can see the percentages,
Yeah.
um, but they're very low. They're like 0.8% kind of stuff, and so just as they've been expiring, I've been
We
moving
go to the
them.
market, go to alpha, go to water because we were looking at water, and the Medusa is the one I clicked on. Oh, we're not in market. Okay, water, alpha, and then go to what is it, Medusa? Look at rent, and then Nealmcspadden renting it for 0.39.
So yeah, I got
Oh, Neil.
I got a bunch of those, and that's kind of killing me.
But I mean, at the point when we rented it, what was it, 2 to 3%?
Yeah, probably somewhere in there.
I mean,
I actually that's not entirely true. A bunch of them. So when the rentals first started getting going, I listed a bunch very cheaply just because I wanted them to get out there,
mm-hmm.
and the market had not evolved to the point where people were willing to pay a reasonable amount. But now it has, and I've still got these leftovers because I put on really long leases to make them more attractive. And
I'm at 0.84.
yeah,
Much better.
yeah. So I mean, it's a give and take kind of thing. But yeah, and for water in particular, I own like 3% of all the alpha waters, just
Wow.
across the board.
See some of them.
So
You got some more of them crustacean kings.
I got a
Those
few.
things are expensive.
I got a few. Let me see if I'll pull up my account here on my screen and You see what
But
I got?
they're doing pretty well. You've got 3 to 4%. There's only like one available level 10. One
Yeah.
that will become available in 6 days. But if someone's like looking now, that's halfway through the season.
Yep.
They're probably going to go for this 3.7. And there's some out there that are being rented. Well, I don't know, 2.7. No, that's let's see. They're not. I mean, it's just because the prices raised so much on some of these.
Yep.
When you originally did it, it was like 3-4%. Now it's down to like 1.3. Oh, and mine's 1.59. The highest. The highest. You always want to be the top rented one.
It's true.
10.8 cents a day. That's the top one with a $2 escrow.
Yeah, and it's just it became an in-demand card because people realized that that's probably the most useful card on the water team, and prices just skyrocketed. And that goes back to what I was saying about the commons, because there aren't enough to go around, and that's by design. That they want to create more of a more demand for the particular cards. And Crustacean uh, just
Yeah.
I call him the
Totally.
Krabby King, but
The Steinbeck turtle is another big one, though. That's a huge.
Turtle's a big one.
And there's nothing even above a level 6 available.
Well, for golds, yeah.
Oh, for golds. Sorry. Okay, so there's one level 10 that's available. Mine. Someone go out and rent it. 2%.
2%.
I could up it. There's been some rented at 2%. Mine is at 2%.
Is that a 3?
2.8. This one's 3.2.
There you go. 10 cents a day.
All right. Well, maybe I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
But
to my collection. Water. I mean, someone out there probably wants to see this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got 3 of them, which is a good deal. Oh my gosh, 0.95. Oh well.
Yeah, so
And
I'm going to go on record here on video and saying for the people who own the cards renting out, we want the feature to be able to change things when the contract expires.
who are those people?
Well, that's me, and I guess Aggroed, Jarnick maybe.
Well, you're not renting them anymore.
Well, because it's hard. I mean, this is the easiest that exists, but it's still hard.
It's the only that exists.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you can do manual rentals through the site, and handle payments on directly. You're crazy if you do that, as far as I'm concerned, because you're giving up all the time you could have spent, renting out all your other stuff.
Well, what do you think? Is there still a use case, or are you thinking this free-to-play accounts is the way to go?
Well, free-to-play accounts
develop
are
free-to-play accounts instead of doing all these upgrades to rental account market.
Well, no, I think the rental account market is still critically important, and the simple reason is that they're two different things, right? So the free-to-play accounts, well, one requires people to buy a whole bunch of cards. Like you need a few whales to do that. So there's me, and there's Aggroed, and there's Jarnick, and there's you, and you know, uh, J69 keeps all his stuff in house, so that's not going anywhere. And so there's 7, 8, 9 of us doing that, and so that needs to happen first, and then you create the cart, you combine everything, and you rent them all out, and that all works great. But there are plenty of players who are building their own decks who need individual cards in order to shore up a weak area. And so they just need the 1s and 2s of the different things in the different splinters, And then there are the optimizers like JSEC, Jace KW. And so he had a post 3 seasons ago or so where he rented an entire deck of individual cards. And he got from 0 to champion in like 3 hours or something. And he went through all the whole math on it of how much it cost him, and then how much he made in winnings, and then in pack rewards and everything. And he made like 2 or 3 to 1 on the rental costs, which is just crazy. And so he's actually playing his own account. He's playing. I think he's still playing his individual card rental account, and he's playing a free-to-play account that I created. Based on it was customized for him. So he's a busy guy, but I'm saying that. So those are all different use cases for different types of players, and I think they're all needed.
Does he own an account? Does he have cards?
I actually don't know.
I'm looking here, and most of these are delegated.
Yeah, they might all be delegated.
Well, I think the reward cards he has. Some of them.
Yeah, there you go. He's got a couple Sea Genies.
The Sea Monsters. Look, he owns this one. Oh,
there you go.
Card. He must transfer him somewhere else.
Yeah. And any blockchain sleuths could figure it out if they really wanted to. There are no secrets on the chain.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, yeah. I would like it. I'd like to make some of those features to make it faster for you guys to make those cards. And it's just like, well, they're just making them to use for something else. So I don't know if there's a huge rush, but it's still nice. I need to make another account because each guild that I create for Peakmonsters, I create a free-to-play account in there for someone in one of our guilds to play on them. We don't do the Herons thing. We just what we do is there's an element of trust. So there's no cards actually in the account. They're all delegated, and so they just each day. So one quest goes to me, the next quest goes to them. One quest goes to me, the next quest goes to them. And at the end of the season, we just divide that number, because it's usually a large number, and then we just divide the DEC at the end of the season. So it's very little work. It's almost no work for me. All I do is divide the DEC, and then I give them an account. Let's see, where did I have him put? I had him put, so this is maybe 1 or so seasons.
Okay.
And there was nothing in the account to begin with. Maybe it was 2. I can't remember when he started. Well, there's $11 of cards in there.
Hey.
Plus the DEC was probably another $5 worth each season, so another 10. So $20 for 2 seasons. Is that normal-ish? Or maybe we didn't start at the beginning of 2. I can't remember when we started.
Yeah, that's a little high, but if you get a lucky pull, then that can happen.
$10 a season
for a gold level account. That seems
silver.
Or for a silver level account, that's a little high. Yeah, I'm normally seeing. Oh well, that's only my portion. Let me bring up the spreadsheet here.
That's $10 is my portion.
Are you doing 50-50?
Yeah.
Okay. So
then again, there's 2 golds and a legendary here.
Let's see. Silver. So 2 weeks. There's 26 seasons. Okay. Yeah, that is in the ballpark. So on my silver accounts, it goes 60% to the player and 40% to me. So that skews things, you know.
Yeah, we kind of have to do it this way, where it's just.
Yeah. So like when delegations first rolled
But
out,
we are also getting full value of the cards,
right,
as opposed to just DEC value.
right. Which, you know, if you have good pulls, then can make a difference. But if average pulls, doesn't make a whole lot of difference.
Now with there's 3 flame imps in there that are now worth 22 cents a piece.
Yeah, I made that happen today.
Oh really?
It was 17 cents, and then I bought a bunch. But because I was looking at the list of things that are running out, so I was like, I'm going to buy some of those. The only one I didn't buy up was the Hobgoblin because, it's just not that great. And I have two max levels worth of Hobgoblin, so I think that's enough.
Yeah, my Hobgoblin game is pretty good. None of them are rented out though.
Well, there you go, because nobody wants them.
That's sad. There's too many Arianthus around to have with their thorns.
Yeah. I mean, Arianthus is in like 50% of all matches.
Flame Imp, though, I have a pretty strong Flame Imp game here. And they're all being rented. Now the ROI is 1% because you brought it up to 22%. 22 cents a piece.
People don't appreciate how small the available supplies are. Like, if last time I looked, I was explaining the game to a friend of mine, and I was like, so he's like, well, what's the best card in the game? I was like, well, matter of opinion, but the answer is the Elven Cutthroat. And if you go to the market and you look and you enter the bulk, the bulk purchase thing, then and you put in 505, at least as of 2 weeks ago, there was only half of a max level at all on the market.
So we're in neutral, and we go to buy, and it says there's only 252 available cards.
There you go. So even if you wanted a max level one, you can't buy it.
Yeah.
And the 38 cents, that's the starting price, of the cheapest listings.
Yeah, if we go to 172, I mean, at 25 cards, you're already up to 42 cents.
Well, go ahead and put in the bulk.
45 cents. 75 cards, you're at 50.
Well, there you got a 105 there.
Okay, so let's just take it to 105.
Yep.
A bulk at 105, the average price is 42 cents.
Yep.
For a common. $44 just to get it to, you don't even have a 3 attack, which is important.
Yeah, so how much is it to get to 172?
It goes probably way up. 45 cents a piece, $78.
That's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
305.
305 you can't do because there's only...
No, there's 252 cards, but some of them are... Yeah, you can do. There's 305 BCX available. 50
All right, what about,
piece,
what about 505?
150. What's that? 505?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's available. Oh, no, only 433 BCX is available.
Yeah.
So you can't get a full card. But it is still a decent card at 172.
Yeah.
You're going to miss out on a little bit of speed and one speed and one health.
Yeah. And I mean, when you're talking about Cutthroat, where, it's a sneak, the speed is critical.
The health even more because there's so many thorns.
There are a lot of thorns. There's a lot of thorns. There's a lot of retaliates. There's stuff going on.
Yeah. The Cutthroat. I'm surprised though, like look at how close in price it is to the Enchanted Pixie, which
Well, that's a rare. That's not a common.
I know. It's so close still.
Yeah.
As a rare, it is close. And then Enchanted Pixie, I think, is an amazing card.
Well, it's got the Inspire. That's what I use it for mostly.
And the thing is, you have to take it to 115 to get that second mana or
Yep.
second, you know, like this is
Second
one of the
attack.
cards where you have to have it at max.
Yep.
Kind of feel like buying some more. Okay. Especially because you see this big price jump, 43 cents. And then by the end of the 25 cards, it's up to 55 cents.
That is true.
It's
I do have on my spreadsheet. I do have a calculator to see if it's cheaper to max a gold or a regular.
oh
And,
yeah,
and
I
sometimes,
totally maxed the Enchanted Pixie Gold recently because it was so low in price.
yeah. So like with the when the Dwarven Wizard came out, it was cheaper to do that in gold than it was to do it in regular.
It's
So I ended up.
expensive still, so expensive.
It's a fantastic card though. So one of my
Not
favorite
max
things.
it out, and I feel like that's a card you have to max out.
Oh yeah, because it's only got like a one attack otherwise. Um, but so I like to stack, functions. So if I'm doing a sneak, I want at least two sneaks, preferably three if I can manage it. If I'm doing snipe, I want three snipes. So with the Dwarven Wizard and the Centaur, you can often get that three snipe setup. And Dwarven Wizard having a magic snipe and having stun, to potentially knock the recipient out of the next round is just phenomenal.
Well, let's look at it. So if someone's interested, you go to buy, and you want 46. It's going to cost you $145,
Yep.
with the average being 3.1. 145. I mean, it's still going to be a lot more for gold, but you have a lot better foundation, right? Is that what you're thinking? So you
Well,
need
yeah.
these. That's going to cost $450.
So that's twice as much. Well, I
Three,
guess three times as much.
three
Three times
times
as
as
much.
much.
So three times as
Golds are
much.
supposed to be 50 times more valuable,
Well, they're 50 times rarer.
but
I
in
don't know.
DC terms, they're
10% better.
well, in DEC terms, how much more valuable?
Oh, in DEC terms, they're 50 times. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that. They give you the 10% bonus on gameplay, and you can play in gold tournaments. So it's not a 50x multiple, obviously, but it has helped the price of gold cards.
Let me see
You know,
where Gringotts, gold, promo. I have 4. I need one more to get to at least level 5.
yeah,
6 more of them. So expensive.
yeah, it gets steep.
And then I was hoping those orbs I opened, I would have gotten some.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to go in and check. I mean, they were at 40 something recently.
Dwarven Wizard was the gold
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Look at that, 427 Steem. It is
Yep.
not a cheap purchase.
Yeah. But I think the
Live, I'm going to buy one, people.
look at that.
Boom. Now I've got my 5. Still, I need 5 more to get what I really want out of it.
Yeah, I mean it's a card I use probably in 20 or 30% of matches, so it's well worth it for me.
Yeah, Gringotts, my collection, promo. and it's not there yet. Oh, I didn't transfer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you buy it to the right account?
Jarvie, I gotta go back and transfer it, and then there you go. Transfer. This is just to show people how to use Peakmonsters.
Yeah.
Confirm. And now log out to Gringotts. My collection, promo, epic. Combine. I was going to say, for those, I know that I don't know how many are going to be watching, and obviously watching to this point, that are big renters, but here's one fun little tip, I guess, for you on Jarvie Rentals, is if I have cards in here that are not being rented, I don't actually go to the profile and look to see what's not being rented. I go to my collection and I look at this number compared to this number.
That's what I do too.
Okay. So I'm like, oh, this card, there's one not being rented there. And I start at this end. And I go, one's not being rented there. One's not being rented. And I just do this whole thing. And I don't open the ones that I don't need to look at. So, and then I'm like, okay. And then if any of them don't have this green thing, that means I don't even have them listed. And I'm just like, okay, which ones? Because sometimes I'm on my other account and then I send them on over and I forget.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at this. This is pretty good. 9.2%.
That's pretty good.
Obviously, these are the ones I was talking about. I'm even getting 3.5 off of the Rusty.
That's because it's so cheap.
You can, because it's like I'm renting it for. Did you know that you can hover? That's another thing. You can hover and see your terms.
Oh, I did not know that.
So you hover over it, and it's 0.008 with a termination of 0.1.
Hmm.
So literally, I don't ever use those other things much. I just look at my collection.
Yeah.
And I have all.
But then, you know, if you're trying to optimize your profits, then you got to do your market research and go into the market, see what's renting.
Oh
see
yeah, I have
is.
2 screens open. Yep.
So it's a bit of work.
Oh well, I guess it just became available, the Hydra.
Yeah, Hydra's a weird one. It's such a great card, but
It's a have-to-have card almost.
yeah, but then I don't see it a lot. So maybe it's just the matches I'm in. I don't know.
It's the Super Sneak card. It's the card you use always with Super Sneak.
It's pretty good at Super Sneak. At defense, yeah.
Cyclops. Oh, hey, look, this one isn't a max card, so it's supposed to be. I'm supposed to move it.
Yeah, I thought about creating accounts for different levels of stuff, but that just sounded like more work to me. So.
Well, it's just because I have all my other cards, and if I want to combine, I want them to be in Jarvie and all that stuff. So.
Yeah.
That's
I understand.
Like,
it just
spread
still
out.
sounds like a lot of work.
Cockatrice.
Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah, cockatrice.
Uh,
Is there another way?
I don't know. I always say cocatrice.
A cockatrice.
All right, really, I just call it coca. But.
Yeah, when I'm writing it, I just write coca. Better than writing cock.
Yeah. It's always a danger.
Air elementals, man. Those things went way up in price.
It's a must-have. It's got the dodge. Why it's not flying, though, I don't know.
I gotta change price on that.
So what's your rationale for your escrow price?
It keeps me having more cards rented out, I think.
Why? By keeping it lower compared to others?
Oh, I think my escrow price is pretty on the higher end.
Oh, is it?
That's $2.
Wow. Yeah, so I usually do 10x. So if I'm renting for 4 cents, the escrow will be 40 cents.
Yeah, I don't think $2 is good on that. I don't always have the best
Yeah.
rationale per se.
Well,
Uh,
I mean, what it comes down to is the effective daily price.
yeah,
Whether you split it up front or during the course, if the player actually wants to use the card for a while, then it doesn't matter. It's just
and look, I have one rented out for 5 cents a day with a 150 escrow,
there you go.
and I just set this one up for something a day with one. Yeah, so I guess could have gone higher, but whatever. Sometimes time is more important. It's just like I could go back through all these and change things because prices have gone up so much. Look at this one. There was no way I had this at 0.4% ROI.
Probably not.
I probably had it at like 2.5% at one point, and then it went down
Okay.
because the value of
So,
the cards went way up.
all right. So let's get a little bit more economical here. So, rentals come in as either Steem or SPDs. What are you doing with your Steem, given the environment that we have been in for the past too long?
I had earned about 1,100 Steem from my Jarvie Rentals account over the course of like a month or so, or whatever it was.
Mhm.
So what did I do with it?
Yep.
Bought a Prince Rainin.
There you go.
My first time ever having a max Prince Rainin.
All right.
So now I play with it a lot. I was like, oh, I'm the cool club now.
You're in the cool club.
It was a very
So,
expensive card.
yeah, I think even now they're what, $28 a card, something like that.
I bought it at 27.
Yeah. So, I have found myself like perfectly acting out Gresham's law, which for the non-economics nerds means bad money drives out good. So if you have two currencies or three currencies or whatever, you're going to spend the bad one first, and which is just makes sense because you want to keep the good stuff and spend the bad stuff. So the Steem has become the bad stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I am turning it around into more cards as quickly as I can. So that's what I've been using to buy, whatever cards I need or want.
So the profit we've made from Peak Monsters, which hasn't been incredible, but um, it's there. Asgarth, he doesn't play, he doesn't do much with Peak Monsters, but he's upped his he's put it into Steam Power, and I
Okay.
put it into cards.
Yeah.
Probably done a little bit better.
I have a bunch of Steam powered up,
When he votes
and
on stuff because he gets a big vote.
well, I mean that helps. So I have a bunch of Steam, and for the past like 3 months, I've been struggling. It's like, well, do I power it all down and just buy cards because I know my return's there, or do I hold out hope that someday we will see prices go back up for Steam? And so far, I've been holding on to the Steam power that I already had powered up. And
Yeah, I mean, if Steam goes up, it'll go up by a lot.
yeah,
It could go up by a lot,
it could.
and that's way more valuable than the small amount that
But
Peak.
then the cards should go up, right? Maybe,
Eh,
especially the out of print cards.
maybe. I mean, they have gone up. What did you used to buy your? We were having this like historical conversation. Let's see, Peak Monsters market. I remember buying. Me and my sister bought a bunch, 5,000 commons from someone at a bulk rate. This was before the market and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
5,000. It was somewhere between 3 and 4 cents a piece.
That sounds about right.
And now the cheapest one is 7, with some going up to, let's see here, So I'm going up to 20, like quite a few at 20%, 20 cents.
Yep.
And a few at 20 cents. Like most of them are in the 20-cent range. There's just a few that aren't,
and
which is
even better,
weird.
a bunch of those turned to gold in the meantime.
Oh, yeah. Well, did they turn to gold for me or the original buyer?
Oh,
I
I
can't
don't
remember.
know. I don't remember.
But it's there's so many of them that are 20 cents. But why? I feel like the Minotaur Warrior is getting more play these days.
It has gone up in popularity a bit. I've noticed that.
And it's super cheap right now in alpha compared to some of the others.
Yeah, well, it was always one of the cheapest, and then people started to use. I mean, it's got reach and piercing. So what don't you like about that?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you know, the fads come in, they come and they go with the play styles, which is pretty interesting to watch. So you know, now that you know so many matches are having healed out on them,
Oh my gosh.
the Prince Renin has come down as a result. So it's
Yeah, if you want to look at that, let's go to battle. This has got to be, oh, it's gone now. I had 5 healed out in a row, and then a break of like 3 or 4, and then 5 more healed outs in a row.
so yeah. So
That's not random. That can't be a purely random.
I think the scales are weighted a little bit. But so I last week I had an Earth quest, and I started keeping track because it got so ridiculous. Out of 16 matches, 11 were healed out. I guess how long it took me to do my quest.
16.
There you go. So
Yeah, I had a green quest, and I had 6 in a row that were not green. 6 in a row. In a row.
yeah,
That
well
wouldn't
that
even
can happen.
allow green.
That can happen in kind of the normal course of events, just every once in a while. You
No,
know.
that's like an impossible statistical probability.
It's not an impossible statistical probability.
It's
It's
like winning the lotto
combinatoric.
probability.
But yeah, that does get annoying. So like the thing that aggravates me the most is when you get a new quest and the first match you can't even use your splinter. It's just like, come on, give me one.
Yeah.
But that is.
Life is life has become pretty, like, life Splinter has been pretty hard for me recently.
Oh yeah, I'm liking Fire and Life right now. Those are my two favorites at the moment.
I mean, I love situational life Splinter.
Okay.
Like, I'm like, oh, that's the perfect one to play life on.
Yeah.
But going for a quest for life sucks.
Yeah. I haven't had any issues with it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've been struggling with actually the most I've been struggling with is water lately. I'm not
True.
really sure why that is.
Yeah.
I think it's because there's so much magic reflect out there.
There's a lot. Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes I play the game and I'm just like, what am I doing playing? I am so bad. And then other times I'm like, oh, I'm on a run. Like recently I've won 3 in a row.
Yep.
Actually, I'm going to click this button. We're going to play while we chat.
Ooh, look at that.
Discuss the strategy here a little. Probably end up playing someone from your guild and you're going to give me terrible advice.
Hey, all's fair, right?
Yes.
What rank are you at right now?
I was actually doing really good earlier today. I was actually using Holger's BeamP,
Mm-hmm.
checking that out to see what he was saying was good. Do people know what that is? You know what that is?
Well, I know what that is. People watching probably don't.
So we'll just test that out. We'll show someone. They've watched us this long. Okay, so we've got a 20 back to basics taking sides. So I would go to do a search for back, And then I would go back to basics and keep going till I see taking sides. And I go to 20. And then I would see what they're suggesting. And I need to do a white splinter. There's like barely any like things here. So it's like, this advice probably sucks.
There's Tyrus right there.
So Silver Shield, Peacebringer, Air Elemental, and Divine Sorcerer. So, but how can you play a back to basics without using a, well, because you don't have a giant available because it's taking sides.
That's right.
So it was a Peacebringer, Air Elemental, and Divine Sorceress.
Yeah.
That seems kind of right. Putting like this is a valuable card to have in there. So you want to put it at the end.
Yeah, well, anytime you're in back to basics, you want to front load health so that you take as many shots as you can up front.
We got a 6 here and a 6, so they're both 6 for me because I don't have the Air Elemental or the Peacebringer maxed out, or the Silver Shield Paladin. So I'm missing 3 health. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, the thing that's tricky about the BeamPie site is that, if you go back to that listing, you'll see that those were not max level cards because I guess those must have been matches from like Gold League.
Oh, these are max.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I can't see on my little screen here.
Yeah.
All right, maybe I'm wrong there, but it is something you have to watch out for.
Okay, yeah. I take them as suggestions half the time.
Yeah.
We are playing a moon account. The Urus I don't know very well. It is a max account.
Yeah. So before you hit Rumble, let's do our predictions.
He's got 7 magic. He's going to destroy me.
I agree. I think you're a loser on this one.
Yeah, but I wanted to do my stupid quest.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do without my giant. I have a max gold giant.
Yep.
Which was not cheap.
Peaceful Giant is like the only thing to use in the back to basics.
So yeah, this is going to be bad. I don't even know if we need to watch it.
Well, let's watch. Just put it on high speed. Now that's another thing. Yaba, if you're watching, please make speed settings persistent.
Yeah. Oh, that was nice. Okay.
See.
Not even close. This would be bad. Nah. That wasn't even close. And then you just rage click ranked. I want to forget that one, and I want to go back into ranked and forget it and hit this.
Yeah, so I made myself a rule. If I lose like 4 in a row, I take a break.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I'm just not in the mentality, and I just try to keep going. And it's just like other times I'm like, I'm sharp right now. I can't even play my white.
Yep.
But I feel like you have to use a Splinter for Earthquake that has armor.
Well, it's either that. So like life is really good for Earthquake because with the armor smith, you can restore that armor. But otherwise, it's fire. Fire has the most flying monsters.
Or you go with blue and then you add the crustacean, and it adds 2 to everyone.
You mean 2 armor? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That is true. So you get an extra round out of it.
And then I finally upgraded Max, my mermaid healer.
There you go.
I still don't understand what cleanse does, to be honest.
Cleanse gets rid of poison, I think.
So I don't know what to. I could do that one. I sometimes just like, screw it, I'm not going to win this round.
Yeah. I have felt that a time or two.
What would they have said? Earthquake, Let's see what BeamP would have said. Let's see. Earthquake.
It was just earthquake, right? There
Yeah,
was no
just earthquake
16.
16. So they would have said Selenia Sky and then a bunch of like, and the Gold Dragon and Crustacean. Yeah. Gold
Good choice.
Dragon and Crustacean is a good combination.
Yeah, putting the ooze
Make
up front is kind of strange.
sense. And look, they probably have Gold Dragon.
Oh,
They have
there
the
it is.
exact setup. They're using BP. Ula Ocean is using BeamP, and they're gonna smoke me because of it.
Well, I don't know. You got a 3 magic there on the Sea Genie. Now it's 4 magic.
Yeah, so dead. But I'm gonna get a reflect on me.
Yeah, that is true.
Let's see.
Yeah. Your attack is kind of so like if we just look at attack numbers, you're like -6.
He's gonna wipe out both of them in this one shot.
Yep, there he goes. Yep.
Oh, there we go. This is great. Listen to us about the economics, not about my gameplay.
Or just follow, follow Beam. Use Holdr's cheat sheet.
The what?
I said use Holdr's cheat sheet and
Oh,
use Beam.
yeah.
So, but so one of the great things about these type of games is that, eventually you get to the point where you're playing the player rather than the game. Because they're like, well, in this situation, and my Splinter, if I'm using a fire quest or whatever, they're going to expect me to use melee. So
Yeah.
I know that they're going to expect that, and they're going to defend this way, and then I'm going to attack this other way to go around that defense.
Yeah.
So how deep
Never
can you
mess with a Sicilian. With
That's right.
death, he's on the line.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, this goes to one of my favorite subjects of possibilities for Splinterlands.
Oh yeah.
If there's any developer out there that wants to join in, Peakmonsters is very interested in hosting a different way to play with these cards.
Interesting.
We want to do live drafting. Not live tournaments, but live drafting.
So
Almost got a developer interested in playing, and I know that, like, I think I mentioned it before to I've mentioned it. It was a while back now, but I mentioned it to Yaba and Agrid. They're like, yeah, it's fine. That was part of the thing before. They're like, yeah, anyone can make a game with these sort of things. It's like, well, we're thinking about making a game. Yeah, it's fine. But we need a developer that's consistent, that will do it. The idea is it's a live drafting, and this is how I envision it, and it'd be so much fun. We'll host it on Peakmonsters. If you want to help make it happen, let's do it. But so it's you versus me, right?
Uh-huh.
And the rule set is whatever comes up. Name a rule set.
Melee Mayhem.
Melee Mayhem, and it's 25. All right, and any color, right?
Okay.
So the deal would be, we would get the rule set. There would be a countdown timer on your side and my side, like a chess thing.
Okay.
So when I pick, your timer starts to go down, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's a much longer game. It's not like a 2-minute sort of thing. It's like you get 5 minutes, I get 5 minutes, or whatever it is. It's more challenging the less time you have, obviously. But what it would be is you would add like 20%. Well, 20%. So it's a 25 mana game. So you would get 30 mana to pick. So we'd go back and forth. Okay. So I would go, and you're just picking. You're not picking in order or anything. And I'm like, it's Melee Mayhem. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do Malric, I'm going to start with my summoner. You're like,
Yep.
oh, well, he's doing red. So you go over, so you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. But the thing is I have 30 mana to play a 25 mana game.
Mhm.
Tricked you. And I go and actually grab a white Splinter or something like that.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
And then you go back and forth and you pick 30 mana worth of card. And at the end, when everyone's picked, that time runs out, then you have like 30 seconds or so, 30, 40 seconds to like organize them in the order. So you know the cards they're playing with, and they have like 5 extra mana of cards, perhaps. You know the cards that they have, but then they decide the order, and you're like, oh, he's got a couple of neutral cards that he could use, or, that sort of thing.
I
So
like it.
that would be total like battle of wits. Like, I'm going to make him think I do this, and my strategy is going to be confuse him, or I just know what's going to win, and I know what cards he's got, and I know what can beat that. And the only thing that he could possibly do is this order, but I don't think he's going to think of that order, that sort of thing, right? And so
Yeah,
you're thinking about it's constantly, even when they're selecting, you're still playing
absolutely.
whole time. That whole
And then they can feel you through the screen. You know?
yeah, it's like 10 minutes of complete playtime. Like,
Yeah.
you're just constantly thinking, what are they going to do? What they going to do? And then even at the end, when you're like organizing them, that's like the stress time. You're just like, okay, put that in, and
I
then
like
it
it.
plays out, and then it's actually playing instead of, right now it's a little bit luck. You're playing blind. So this is blind drafting, and so just live drafting would be pretty fun.
Yeah. Now, one thing I wanted to do back when this whole thing was evolving, and we knew that we would have these crypto assets, where you know as long as the asset is there on the chain, you can do anything else with it that you want, right? So you can design all these other games. And back in like 1988 or something, I had this PC chess game called Battle Chess.
Yeah.
And Battle Chess was just a regular chess game, but your pieces were monsters, and the animations were, they were 8-bit, but the animations were like, your rook was like turned into like a stone golem, and would, when it captured a piece, it would slide over, and then it would turn into this golem, and then it would just bash,
Yeah. Yeah.
the piece.
Harry Potter style too.
Yeah, yeah, it was great, and that was definitely my favorite chess game that I ever had, and I wanted to do that, and I still want to do that uh, with with Splinterlands. So you have your cards, and like in my game, the levels or whatever wouldn't matter. You just have the card, and it has whatever motions associated with it, and then just make a fun little animation overlay to it, and people can play chess using Splinterlands. So, you know, I think the future is that we know that they are working on NFTs for Steam Engine. So I think what's going to happen is all monster cards are going to end up being NFT, non-fungible tokens that you can exchange directly through exchange. So and that will kind of move out of this JSON storage method and onto at least a side chain of some sort. So it's a little bit more rigorous.
But sidechains are JSON.
Are they?
Yeah.
Mm. Well, okay, I don't know, but you know, but what if and when that happens? I think it'll be more easy to develop these other things. That's my theory anyway.
Hmm.
I don't know if anybody will, but I think it's at least doable.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited for one of these cards to run out. Dang it! I want to see what
Oh
they're
yeah,
doing.
Yeah, so we got 100,000-ish left in beta. I think we're 108 or something. And
No, even the rewards cards are about. There's like 3 of them
oh
about to run out.
yeah,
Arianthus is going to be around for at least another season.
yeah. Somebody was
Maybe
saying, I think
two.
it was TC Polymath said that the other ones might have like 6 days left. So based on standard rates
Really?
of yeah.
Figure that out.
Well,
And
I think
why?
he looks at how many are created each day from quests and whatnot.
How do you figure that out?
Well, if you monitor the prints of each type, then you can say, oh, on an average day it makes 72 or whatever.
Hmm.
So those are going to run out soon, one way or another, and then we'll see if they roll out the new ones immediately or if they wait a bit. But my biggest thing is the Untamed set after beta. That's my big thing that I'm looking forward to.
Why?
Well, because so I think when we went from alpha to beta, and betas were the same cards plus a few more, I think that was a giant misstep in terms of protecting the value of alpha. And so they've said that they're not going to do that again. So we know that Untamed are going to be different than alphas and betas, and hopefully different than orbs and everything as well. And I'm just excited to see what new stuff they come up with and what that does to the gameplay. And also the stuff that remains very competitive in alpha and beta should skyrocket in price once the print is done. Well, maybe not skyrocket, but rise.
Yeah, I mean, alphas went up pretty good amount.
Yep.
Not gonna lie, except for alpha gold foil legendaries,
Except for those.
those did not go up. And really, what was the high on the gold foil epics alphas?
The high,
They must have been like $60 at one point.
oh, for gold.
Yeah, I feel like
Oh
they
yeah.
were $60-$70 at one point.
Yep.
Now they've come back down to like 30s.
Yep. That's about right.
So
And
not
that.
every alpha went up.
No, it's the ones that are the most useful in the games. That's. I think that's reasonable. When the game started, we just kind of had no idea what was going to happen. So some guesses were wrong, but
Yeah, I finally ended up buying a bunch of beta gold foil legendaries at like $200-$300 a piece. About 5 of them.
wow.
That did not age well.
No, no. I made yeah. I've done similar kind of things. I remember buying a gold dragon beta for like $400 or something, and that's not turned out to be a good investment. But you live and learn, right?
Well, betas go away and people may still be maybe
Yeah.
pretty interested.
Yeah. But on the new rewards cards, did you see my post on the chickens?
I did not see your post on the chickens, but I'm looking at the chicken. I think it's hilarious and awesome.
It,
But
it
what
is
were you
hilarious.
saying about it? I mean, this is, for those that don't know, it's 0 mana
Yeah, so that's the key to the
with
whole thing. It's
one
0 mana.
one hit point is all,
Right. 1 hit point, 1 attack at some point. I forget
and a
what
low
level.
speed.
Yeah. So it could be useful. Like if you got like melee mayhem and reverse speed, it would be a great card. but but the reason
And you had a put it in the green where it was like double health, so you'd have a 3 health on it, and it could withstand a
single,
thorns.
yeah. So but it's 0 mana. So what I realized though was that if you have a gold chicken, then you have a 10% boost in your dark energy crystals just automatically.
Oh yeah, just by having it there.
Just by having it there. So even if it does nothing, you still get a 10% bonus on dark energy crystals. And so it's a neutral, so it's not going to be available in taking sides. and you have to have room in your list for it because you're not going to prioritize that. So I figure your net increase in dark energy crystal production will be about 6 or 7%. And like for me, when I have all these decks that I'm renting out through the Herons, and I'm getting paid through their winnings of dark energy crystals, then that's a no-brainer for me.
Mm-hmm.
So what I ended up doing was so TC Polymath, he's the guy who's running the Herons Unlimited, and he runs Ottermaker, which kind of work conjointly, and the so he gets tons and tons of rewards cards. So he actually set up a pre-sale of where you send him his price for the cards, and when he gets them, he will complete your order. So I have ordered like 22 gold chickens.
You need 38 to max it. Just joking.
Well, I just need level ones, but I need a bunch of them because I have a bunch of accounts.
Well, I feel like you want to get it to level 5, so you need 2 of them together, right? Then you have the enrage.
Yeah, because that's going to be so useful. You got to get hit to be.
Then you get it, and you have the double life on it, and then it gets injured by the.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what it enrages to, from 1 attack to 2 attack, maybe.
If I think it's 50% rounded up, so yeah. So I think it'll get to 2.
Okay, never mind. It's not worth it.
No.
Okay, yeah. So just get a bunch of them and put 1 in each of your accounts, I guess.
Yep. And then I'll increase dark energy crystals by 6% or so.
Everyone is freaking out about tank heal on red.
It's pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie. That is a nice thing to have.
That is like they're all tank heal on red. I'm like, well, an inspire on red is pretty good.
Yeah, and I mean, if nothing else, I think it'll be a good replacement for Enchanted Pixie for red. Because I'd rather have Inspire and Heal than Inspire and Flying. So it's 1 more mana.
1 more mana, and that's true. It's very similar to the Pixie, isn't it?
Yep.
With very low. Well, I don't know what the Pixie has, but it has some pretty low health here.
Yeah, I think Pixie might have 1 more health. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
And then all this wind stuff coming out.
Yep. It reduces ranged attack. So it's a counter to your Renans and whatnot.
There needs to be, for how many Earthquake games, there needs to be more flying cards. So, and then blind. Yeah,
the thing where it decreases chance of hits on the Unholy Spirit there, that's pretty interesting. It's a 15% debuff. I think it was 15% is what it said.
Yeah, 1 magic reflected, it's gone.
Yeah, well, there's that.
15% on melee and ranged. Too bad it's not also magic, huh?
Yeah, well, magic doesn't miss, right?
Well, maybe if you have an unholy spirit, or whatever they call it now.
Maybe it should. So, yeah, I mean, I think these new cards are really interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they work out. And I just want to see chickens in fights. It's just.
Yes, an enraged chicken.
Enraged chicken, exactly.
On a speed fight where you can't even hit the chicken. It's like, why can't you hit me, huh? Why can't you hit me? And then what if you just left it as a level 1 or a 2 where it can't even fight? And so therefore it can't have, it just people keep on missing it. And then it doesn't even get thorned because it doesn't attack.
That might work. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to
Well,
see.
this was for a first video. got a lot of things out there. Probably not going to be
Um,
this long in the future, but this was fun for me,
yeah,
regardless.
yeah, I had a good time. And it's 1:30 in the morning here, but I'm
Yeah,
powering through.
yeah. Um, uh, I'll send you. I'm gonna send you this link to the YouTube video I made just before this one.
All right.
New complete Steam new user orientation video. Like I go through everything about Steam.
How long is that video?
Hour 20.
Yikes.
But if you watch it on 1.5 speed, it's under an hour.
Oh yeah.
But
So I
hey,
have.
look, I mean, if you think about when you started Steam and how many
uh
days, how many weeks, maybe for me it was how many months it took me to really get it. Like I really feel like this video is like the first 6 months of all of my understanding. It's just like, boom, hour, 20 minutes, you know everything.
Well,
Like
that's
I
good.
explained it all. And it's not just explain it all. I think I did a really good job of helping the person understand the economics, the
Mhm.
blockchain aspect, how
Mhm.
that interacted, and just kind of like taking it from like this is how Steam tokens and Steam reward pool works. And look, we can just duplicate that into another system and we call these tribes. And
Hmm.
then it's just like, oh, so it's not like he just understood the basics, like he understood a lot of it at the
That's
end.
good. I will say that, well, two things. One is that I have a plugin in all my browsers that any HTML5 video, like YouTube or whatever, automatically starts playing at 1.5 speed, and you can
Oh,
tweak it up.
really?
Yeah, it's fantastic. And
I watch everything at 1.5 speed. Even
yeah,
like, have you heard of Ben Shapiro?
yeah, I've heard of them.
He's known for fast talk, and I watch him at 1.5.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can't even, so like all my podcasts that I listen to on my phone, those are all 1.5, videos are 1.5. And, sometimes I'll bump it up to 2 if I'm really impatient. But, so that's one. And then the other thing was I just learned new stuff about how Steam functions, like technical details, but yesterday. So there,
Oh,
it's like an endless pool of stuff to learn little tweaks and nuances of.
nice.
So
Well,
so
I
yeah.
spent a decent amount of today doing this little thing. I still got it shared, right? Making this glossary of all Steam terms, a
Oh wow.
glossary that applies and that could be useful to a new users, and that we may implement into SteemPeak. Well, we will implement it into SteemPeak, so that someone, when you're on a page, you could click this little question button, and then it will bring up the glossary, and it will default to everything that's on your present page. So if it's not on your present page, it won't default to that. You could still go look for the term, but
So like if I'm looking at a post and I hit the question button, all the terms that are on the page that are technical terms will get highlighted and defined. Is that what you're saying?
yeah. So if we're on, I don't know, like this page, you click the button, it would give you a term. It would say what feed means, um, uh, what profile it, not just what it means, but also some tips and like what you should understand about this.
Hmm.
Um, Votes, because you can vote on this page. So it would say, what is a vote? What is, I don't know. There's not too many. What is reputation? What does that mean?
Yeah.
So most of the stuff is in the, well, obviously there's a lot of things in the wallet page. So you click
Yeah.
here, it's like, what is a reward? What is Steam Power? What is,
Yeah.
what is Steam Engine? What is all those types of things? So
I like it. I'm constantly reminded of in Isaac Asimov's Foundation series. There's this is sci-fi stuff. So in the distant future, there's the Great Library at one of the central planets in the galaxy, and the character goes there and is looking at this document, and it's been marked up by the librarians, and it turns out what that means is that when you're looking at the document, whatever it is, it's essentially hyperlinked with whatever the librarian found relevant or interesting based on that starting point. It might be a word, it might be a starting point of a phrase, it might be a starting point of a picture or whatever, and then you can kind of endlessly dive into other things. And then the guy who invented the World Wide Web was Tim Berners-Lee, I think is his name. And like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, he said that every single term on the web should be hyperlinked. And maybe it's to the definition of that word, maybe it's to something relevant or whatever. But that was kind of his vision.
Huh.
And in the modern evolution of the web, that is like terrible for search engine optimization and all that kind of stuff. But I still think it's the right idea. I think you should be able to look at anything on any web page and go into any element of it and learn more and spread out into the world of human knowledge. But that's just me. Nobody else seems to agree. But
well, I mean, we're doing a small version of that.
a small version. And that reminded me of it. So I think that's fantastic.
So, oh, Peak Monsters. Oh, how's it going?
Yeah. So to sum up, new users should use Peakmonsters because it's 1,000 times easier to manage your collection and things.
Here, well, I'll show people always interested about this. I'm going to fulfill all the pending rewards for we gift people currency for using our site.
Yeah. Am I on there anywhere? Oh, there we go. Neal.cards.
So you've bought some in the last day.
Yeah.
So I'll process yours first. Now
Excellent.
You have 2.746 more Steem in your Peak credits.
Great. I'll spend that as quickly as I can.
And so I just click all these buttons. But it's just like, we could automate it, but we spend our time doing more important. Asgard should spend his time doing more important things. It's fine for me to do this.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. We
Yeah.
gave out, I don't know, 50, 60 Steem today.
Looks good.
But I like seeing also, orders, how that went today.
These are all orders on the platform?
On our platform, yeah. So earlier this morning, there's 2,200 Steem worth purchased. So I like going and seeing what that was. It was like 12 hours ago or something.
That was probably me.
Really?
Yeah, if it's Leo Monsters, that was me. I spent about 1,200 of that.
Wow, look at
Oh, Mighty Volcano.
4,000 DEC purchased today. That's the biggest. Not much. There's really not that much DEC being purchased, at least not on Peakmonsters. And it's fine. It's totally doable on Peakmonsters, but I guess the type of buyers that are on Peakmonsters aren't doing DEC, except for, there's like 5 to 10 people consistently using DEC.
Yeah, I did it once, and it worked great. The transferring from the Steam Engine wallet into the game wallet is kind of annoying.
Gold Cockatrice.
There you go.
That's what he went after. That wasn't a DEC purchase, though, that we were looking at earlier. Oh, Leo Monsters?
That's me. Well, that's my. So in the Steam Leo is all investment and such. So we created a small joint venture. We pooled some of our Steam together and
oh my gosh, a lot of Leo Monsters.
are running a couple of Heron's accounts.
Oh, yeah, you did. That was you that spent all that earlier today. I suppose you probably just got a wide range of lots of stuff.
He has a whole silver deck.
Oh. Silver deck. Silver deck. Look at how many bids. There's a lot of bids.
Yeah, bids are great. You know, especially as the season's ending. You know, those rewards cards have been coming in. Prices are going to drop. Great time to buy.
Oh, yeah. Usually before the season ends, I set up all my bids.
Yep. You know, I had an old bid for Lord Arianthus at like $3. You know, from I don't know a season or two ago. It's still sitting there. It fulfilled like 3 out of 10. So I don't think that's going to fill by the time it runs out.
Let's see what C-Coin got. Prince Renins around $30.
Yep.
And 3 more Prince Renins. So he got 5 of them. Spent 140. Such an expensive card. What
It's
are
a
we
pretty
doing?
big card.
Crazy. All right. Well, it's late for you. It's still late for me too.
All right.
That was fun. We'll do it
That
again.
was fun. Yeah, let's do this again, and we'll plan some stuff maybe.
Yeah. We won't have to tell everyone to catch up with their first video.
There you go.
We'll talk about new things.
New things, always.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right, sounds good.